Hello, welcome to the American Business Podcast. This is Kevin Devecioglu, your host. Today we are having season 2, episode 37. So I welcome you and we are excited to start our episode 37. Today's number is 65. That is 65% of employees report being happy with their current job. Speaking of HR, we're going to be talking about human resources today, talent acquisition, and talent retention. Before I invite our guests to our virtual stage, I'd like to also point out our QR code right here. As we always welcome feedback from you to get new ideas, as well as if you like to be a guest or if you know someone who likes to be a guest. We created this QR code. We'll keep it during our streaming. You can just scan it. It'll bring a form, and you can fill the form to share your feedback, your ideas, as well as in case you like to be a guest speaker or if you like to suggest a guest speaker. We like to keep the conversation going, and to make it easy for you, we created this QR code and the form that you can fill and get in touch with us. We keep an open mind, and we love to hear from you. So that's why it's important that we keep the QR code on the screen and you can be in touch with us anytime. Also, we welcome any sponsorship opportunities and advertising for corporations, institutions, and companies. They can also fill the form and get in touch with us easily. That's an addition to our email address, the American Business Podcast at gmail.com. And any message that you send through the QR code will come to us via email, and we'll respond at the earliest. All right, great. So let's welcome our guest today. We have a lot to cover, and I'm happy to welcome Mark Agovino to our virtual stage. Let's see. All right. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Kevin.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's a pleasure. So how is your week going so far?
It's good. Weather's finally warming up here in New York, starting to feel more like summer. How about yourself?
Good. It's actually pretty good. Yesterday, I had a chance to join an event called Hangar Fest in Long Island area of New York. So it was actually pretty cool. That's a actually networking event that they actually organized at a hangar. So you actually network right next to airplanes, and they also brought some exotic cars. So that was a pretty cool event. So I had a good time, and I made great connections. So far the week is going so well. So far so good. So no complaints.
Nice. That over at Republic Airport?
Yes, actually. Oh, yeah. Let me think. Actually, right next to the MacArthur Airport in Ronkonkoma.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So yeah, that was actually pretty happening. So I think that's their second season, I believe, as a hangar phase. It was actually pretty good. So it's getting better.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Great.
Yeah. Well, let's get started. We have a lot to cover, and we love to hear from you today. So as a start, would you please introduce yourself and your company to our audience and to our listeners?
Sure, no problem. So my name is Mark Agovino. My company is called Onboard TAC. It's talent acquisition consulting. Started in business about 16 years ago. And our whole focus is really on helping small to mid-sized businesses with the whole process of attracting, evaluating, and then retaining top talent. So, I think studies have always shown that the quality of the people has a major impact on the success of a company. And I think SMBs are usually limited with resources and tools to be able to do a great job with it. So we try to help them.
Yeah, it's very important. I speak with small and mid-sized companies all the time, as well as large organizations. The talent retention and acquisition is the biggest challenge. That's what I have been seeing. That's what I have been hearing all the time. So it is very important what you do. How did you choose your current career?
I joke about this because I don't think anybody comes out of college and says, I want to be a recruiter or be in talent acquisition. And some people come out in HR and kind of gravitate into the talent acquisition side of it. I actually came from the information technology side. I managed teams and grew them. So I did a lot of hiring myself. And around 20 years ago with the .com bust and stuff like that, I decided to kind of focus on trying to help those small to mid-sized tech companies deal with their hiring. So that's where I kind of got into it, and I've really enjoyed it. It's a rewarding, part of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit more about your work? What are the challenging and exciting parts of your work? Because you work with different companies very often in different sizes to help them for their talent retention as well as acquisition activities. So, what are the challenges and exciting parts of your work?
I think one of the challenges is the fact that the industry is constantly changing, whether it's economic conditions or technology, or whatever. The Call it the balance of power within between employers and employees changes all the time, right? So there are some times that I'll use a fishing analogy. You can like with bluefish in the fall, you throw a bare hook in the water, and you've got to hit immediately. But at other times, it's like fly fishing for trout, where you got to have the exact right bait and presentation, and then everything seems to be right, but the temperature of the water is off by 2 degrees and the fish doesn't bite. So it's so much more challenging. So the fact that it's constantly changing is a definite challenge. Um,
Yeah.
these
So,
days, these days it's funny because we're finding uh, a lot of companies are struggling with ghosting. They'll go through the entire interview process with somebody, make an offer, do the onboarding, and then the person doesn't show up on day one or works a week and quits. That's super frustrating. Big waste of time and money.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, I can imagine. Um, is there a way to spot this type of behavior early on during the process, you will say?
Yeah, I think it starts with the really all the way at the job description stage and understanding your corporate culture and the values that you're going to require in somebody, right? So that cultural part of the interviewing stems from that. Um, Other thing that helps is micro commitments. So during the interview process, um, getting commitments on moving to the next stages, understanding their motivation and what it's going to take for them to make a decision, what could change their mind. Too many companies don't dig deep enough, peel back the onion, if you will. And then during onboarding, or in between kind of an offer and day one, assign a buddy, assign a mentor within the company that's going to help guide them in. The human connection, the relationship matters a lot. I think what we're finding is the commitment. If it's just, we think that the candidates may be accepting multiple job offers, and then they're kind of taking the best offer at the end. But if they have a personal commitment and a relationship, it helps to kind of seal the deal.
So, during your interactions with different organizations, it's actually a follow-up question. You mentioned some of them, I believe, but just to dive deeper a little bit, what type of challenges businesses are having about retaining talent as well as acquiring talent? And are there any best practices? You mentioned some of them, I believe, but are there any like add-ons that you like to share in terms of best practices to acquire talent and retain?
Yeah, I think since I deal with the small to mid-sized business market, they have some unique challenges, right? So typically they don't have the brand name, the resources. They may not be able to pay the same salaries as larger companies, right? Google, everybody wants to work for Google or Amazon or whatever, but small companies have a challenge. So they're best served by focusing on kind of a mission, a vision that the company has, and the culture, right? So working for a smaller company, you develop the relationships, you have a sense of purpose that you might not have with a larger company. I know an IT managed services company over in New Jersey that just focuses on dermatologists. And so their mission is to make dermatologists effective, efficient, like they relate to their customers, and the employees relate to their mission, and it helps them attract and retain people who care about that.
I like to shift our conversation to another popular subject called AI, right?
Mm,
So the AI is very popular. How do we know? We can tell on our YouTube channel and other channels that we get a lot of views whenever we talk about AI. We dive deeper and we look at it from different angles. So let's talk about AI from talent acquisition and retention point of view, and as well as generally in business. So how do you think AI will continue impacting businesses in general? Also, if we zoom in to the HR practices, retaining and acquiring talent, how do you see AI? Also, are there um, uh, any other negative impact that AI may make during the talent acquisition process, for example?
yeah. So I love this. I'm a techie, so I've been, engaged with this for a couple of years now, at least. So I think a few things, right? So one thing we're hearing a lot is companies are talking about AI first hiring. So if a manager wants to hire for a position, some companies are making them justify why a human needs to do it rather than an AI. That's a groundbreaking kind of change. The other is that some startup advisors are talking to companies about how they will need to, in the future, adjust their organizational chart to have human employees and AI employees, and how they're being, kind of interacting. I think, as opposed to thinking of it as AI taking jobs, I think it's important to think of it as AI is going to take tasks, right? So my kind of vision on it is more that, you'll have in a marketing department, instead of having four different people that, do different things, you'll have a marketing expert who has a social media AI agent that will, kind of manage the social media feed. And you'll have a content creation agent that will, do content creation. But the person's still going to be incredibly important to manage that process, do the strategic thinking, and so on. So I think that the major impact is going to be in how HR hires. We have to be hiring for AI skills and the ability to build your own tools and identify parts of your workflow that can be automated. We could be on the verge of a massive productivity increase if we do it right, but employees need to be comfortable using AI in order to leverage their own knowledge and be more productive.
Yeah, that's an important point of view. Actually, yeah, I never thought about having AI agents in the organization chart. I think that's a great point, and it looks like we are going there. So maybe it has already started. So I mean that's amazing when you think about it. And how
Yeah.
about AI in terms of talent? Let's say interviewing processes, talent acquisition
Mm.
processes. Are there any um, um, negative practices or practices that we should or HR practitioners should pay attention when AI is actually employed for during the hiring process?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess one of the great things about AI is it can kind of expand our knowledge, but we are seeing more companies concerned about candidates gaming the system. There's a few tools out there that candidates can use to have a separate screen that kind of feeds them answers to questions in real time. And I suppose in some ways it's good to understand that your candidates can use AI, but you do need to, make sure you're evaluating the real person. I mean, we've even had a publicized incident of somebody using a deepfake video to change their face while they were on camera.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and
Unbelievable.
there's North Korea, applying for jobs with fake resumes and just trying to get intel on an organization. So there's some interesting challenges. HR departments need to be wary of these things.
Is there a way to prevent these from happening during the hiring process?
Yeah, so a lot of times it happens with remote employees. So companies are moving to final interviews in person, for example, or um, fewer kind of remote coding tests, right? Go develop this thing for me and we'll look at it instead, asking the person to kind of walk them through their thought process about how they would develop an app, for example. So, yeah, and they're developing some kind of anti scamming, detection of an AI on the back end kind of tools, but they're not too widespread yet.
I like to shift our conversation towards role models a little bit. You have decades of experience, and have you had any role models that you can share with us?
Yeah, so I actually think that Reid Hoffman, who's one of the co-founders of LinkedIn, is an interesting role model. He's been a proponent for kind of an idea of a permanent beta release philosophy, if you will, which really is related to continuous learning and kind of incremental improvement, both in our personal lives and in our business. He's also been somebody who's talked a lot about the importance of talent and humans in an organization and their value to the success. And on top of that, he's also been a proponent for ethics in AI, which is something that's probably not talked about nearly enough.
Yeah, that's a great point. During your career journey, what type of lessons learned that you actually managed to gain and you can share with us in this podcast?
Yeah, I think self-awareness or mindfulness has helped me recognize, since I deal with people all the time, right? And so understanding that, you have, it's, how do you put it? It's not easy to kind of understand a person's motivations or feelings or things like that until you can kind of put yourself in their shoes. So the ability to ask questions, be curious, and then listen for understanding, not listen to respond, but listen to understand, is a superpower that too many people, don't have. And, it really helps both in business and in just interaction with people, evaluating talent.
Yeah, that's a great point. Um, what are your biggest passions and interests outside of work?
Honestly, my family is a big part of my life. So, I feel like raising good human beings is a pretty big responsibility and probably
Absolutely.
my most important. But beyond that, I spend so much time immersed in technology that, honestly, the outdoor activities, whether it's hiking or fishing or camping or golfing or anything where, I'm able to kind of disconnect for a while, is super grounding. And so that brings joy to my life.
Um, so in our podcast, we really focus on sharing informative content, especially for today's and next generation professionals. What type of career advice would you give to those who are thinking about getting into human resources as well as talent acquisition and retention part of business?
Yeah, I would say that, it's whatever the industry is today, it will change. And so being able to blend the human interaction with technology and kind of being technically savvy is going to be critical for HR as well as others. It's going to be a very dynamic environment, so learn how to roll with the punches and look over the next hill. That's going to be critical for people in HR. They're going to guide these organizations into the next phase.
Yeah, it's very exciting, especially AI is getting more and more involved in tasks and activities. Looks like it's gonna be a pretty it's gonna be an experience in the field of HR and staffing. That's how it looks like.
Yeah.
So for those for our audience and listeners, for those who like to learn about your company and your services and activities, what is the best way for them to get information uh, about your
Um,
organization?
Yeah, you can check me out on LinkedIn, or the website is onboardtac.com.
All right.
Either
Yeah, it
way.
is on the screen. Okay, perfect. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, that's great. Well, Mark, thank you so much for your time and in your busy schedule, you've been with us and shared your insight and your wisdom. I truly appreciate it. Thank you very much for being with us. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Great. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Good to see you again, Kevin.
Anytime. Yeah, anytime. Thank you so much. And to our audience and to our listeners, thank you very much for being with us. Well, on YouTube, we are getting more and more subscribers. So we truly appreciate your support. Right now, we have more than 38,000 YouTube subscribers. If you haven't done so, please subscribe and be part of our community. This is a business community which is growing and growing fast, and we are really excited and we really appreciate your support. Also, Beth, let's bring our QR code. So we just created a new QR code that you can just scan and just jump into our YouTube channel for those who are listening from LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and other channels. You can just scan this code. It'll take you to our YouTube channel, and you can just subscribe. So we just like to make it easy for you. Would you like to be a guest? Someone who likes to be a guest in our podcast. Would you like to share your feedback? Maybe you like us to share certain subjects in business that you like to share your thoughts with us. You can send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Also, we have the QR code right here. You can scan the QR code. It'll bring a form. You can fill the form for the same subjects to share an idea or to be a guest. You can fill the form, and it'll just come to us directly, and we'll reply to the email that you send us. Also, same for the sponsorship opportunities, advertising. We appreciate our sponsors. If you like to promote your business products and services, you can also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com, or you can just scan the QR code and then fill the form, and we'll be in touch with you. And we love to work with your organization and with your brand and promote it to our business community. Also, if you go to our website, americanpodcast.tv, you can see our coming schedule. We update our website weekly. And when you go to our website, americanpodcast.tv, you'll see the schedule coming up, episode numbers, as well as who's going to be our guest speaker and what type of subjects we will be covering. You'll also be able to learn about it, and you can join us. And one final note, we have a new sponsor, IPVanish VPN. And we have a link that I'm sharing on the screen. You can go to this link. You can learn more about IPVanish VPN. If you need a VPN, you can consider IPVanish. I'm using IPVanish. It's a solid system. If you need a VPN, that's a good solution, and that's the link that we like you to go in and learn more about. And if you're interested, you can also subscribe right there. Well, I think that is it for episode. For this episode, I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. I'm looking forward to having you at our next The American Business Podcast episode. Thank you very much and have a great weekend.